Okay, we are back on the bus for another weekend of fun with my brand new hobby. Don't know what we are going to try to get done this week. I had hoped to find somebody who come out and suck the refrigerant R134A, get the refrigerant out of the AC units so I could drop them. Failed to do that. Not as easy as I thought it'd be. So we're gonna have to work around them this week. I've got some ideas about how to get the refrigerant safely out of them and into a professional's hand for disposal. We are going to try to work around them. We're going to try to take down some of the ceiling, some of the walls. We have been lucky in that almost all of our interior fasteners have been screws that are relatively easy to back out. That's going to make dropping the ceiling easy. We're not going to have to do a lot of, we're not going to have to get an air hammer. We don't have to get an air chisel and take out all of these, take out a whole bunch of rivets. We can back them out with an impact driver for the most part. That's awesome. There are, however, just a few rivets. Right here, underneath each window, there's a plate that's riveted on. I've seen some people cut underneath them, but I don't want to hit the hat channel, so instead I'm going to try to drill that out. That's going to be the drilling out that we have to do. And that's probably what I'm going to start to do next. There's a few other odds and ends we can do. I still have to look at the floor and figure out how bad some of the rust is. So that's something I can look at today. We could start going through the wiring loom back here and finding out what is and isn't still active inside of this loom. But I think I'd like to wait until the ceiling's out, because then I can also deal with these speakers, these overhead lights that are probably going to get disattached. There should be some sensors that might kill the... Well, you know, that's interesting. There should be sensors that stop the bus if the hatches are open. Although this bus might be too old for that, it's a 2000, so I don't know if they'd have it or not. I do know that if any of this is open, there is up here a switch, but I think it might just be a buzzer. Either way, all that has to get taken care of. So that's a start. We're going to try to just make some incremental progress this week. I'm going to start by drilling out a bunch of rivets along underneath these windows. Going to do a little bit of discovery, and I will try to update you as we go. And here we go. All right, so I did a little bit of surgery, and I've got good news for myself. There's good news. I took off one of the covers that looks at the line set going up here. Let me see if we can turn this around. And if you look right here, these are in fact flexible tubes. So good news, everybody, we're not totally boned. I'm going to take the cover off of the other AC unit. That one right there. And I'm going to take down all of the wire chase covers, because I should be able to get to them. All of those plates actually came off pretty easily, so the walls should be mostly openable. Mostly. Progress will be made. Okie doke. So, like I said, we figured out that these are flexible lines, so we can actually move these things around the bus. Mostly. Enough. These are held up in a sort of interesting way. Right here, on both sides, there is a little carriage bolt that is captured inside of a piece of sheet metal. And these things are held up by two pieces of sheet metal. I assume some engineer did some math, but boy, that made me nervous putting it over a kid's head. Anyways, doesn't matter. I didn't do it. I'm not gonna. Carriage bolt here. Long carriage bolt here. Sort of a pivoty hinge thing here. So we are starting by taking out these carriage bolts, and it ends up looking like this. Do the magic of television. So we have that hanging up there. These are pop riveted in. And I just finished saying that we don't have rivets on the bus. Grinder. So our next step is for my dad and I to figure out how to back this thing off or take these bolts out and actually drop the unit. You also have to make sure that there's enough electrical. So we will probably also take this chase cover off so that we can move it that way, we think, and pick up some more electrical so that it'll reach the floor of the bus. The electrical's not critical to me. If we have to cut it, we will. What I don't want to cut yet are the coolant lines, because illegal. All right, moving on.
With my finger on the window, you keep pushing me away. I should let go. Messed up, I stare at you and wonder.
Alrighty, Roo. So we have dropped the AC units. They are not disconnected. That is still a problem. But they're not in the ceiling, which means that all of these panels are now fair game. So it's the end of a longish day working on the bus, and in a lot of ways it doesn't feel like we got much done. I suppose we kind of didn't, but we have taken out all but 3 screws on each of these lines. I have disconnected everything from the ceiling, except apparently that. And the hatch cover. Hatch cover's tomorrow. Might rain tonight. I don't know if it matters. We didn't get much done. We did get the AC units out, or at least down. Still charged, so I gotta figure that out. But we have prepped a lot, so I think tomorrow is going to be a pretty good day. The only thing that currently has us flummoxed is this. Right here. This sheet that comes up the wall goes under the windows. We have absolutely no idea how to get those out. Well, that's going to be a Saturday problem. Okay, another fun fact. So, on a Thomas bus, there are about 1 billion of these screws. Now, people will tell you, or people will assume, that they are a number 2. Then focus. It's hard to do this upside down. They'll tell you that it is a number 2 drill bit. And the number 2 will fit in there. And it'll almost fill it up. But it'll cam out easy. A number 3 gets in there and gets out to the edges where it'll actually really give some torque. So after you cam out with the number 2, go back. There's a joke in there somewhere. After you came out with the number 2 drill bit, go back with the number 3 and get the ones you missed.